Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be my December wrap up. I read a total of 4 books in December. 2 of them were ebooks and 2 of them were physical books. I didn't have the best reading month in December, but I did read 1 more book than November, so that's better, I guess. And I did read 2 books that I wanted to read before the end of the year, and I finished a series which I'm very happy about. So let's get into the wrap up. The first book I read was Tempt by Melanie Harlow. This is the 9th book in the Cloverleaf Farm series, and this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Wedding planner Millie unknowingly falls for her ex-boyfriend's father. Millie can't stay away from Zach, but she's ready to settle down, and Zach has no interest in being a father as he's struggling with the fact that he now has a grown son he didn't know about. I did enjoy this, but I just felt a lack of chemistry and connection between Zach and Millie. I just didn't really believe that they were super into each other, like super in love. I honestly just felt like their connection was lust only. I did like the forbidden aspect of this book, how their relationship is very secretive and they don't want people to know. I mean, there wasn't anything I hated about this book, but I didn't love it at the same time. Like, it was just a very mediocre read for me. I honestly don't think I was like the biggest fan of Zach for some reason. I didn't really like him as a character. I did like Millie, and I liked her storyline with her wedding planning and designing and stuff, and her wanting to create more dresses available for women of bigger sizes and to just be more inclusive regarding wedding dresses and stuff. So I liked that whole storyline and her wanting to change her business up and stuff. But other than that, I just didn't love this book. Then I read As If I Wouldn't Fall by Jessa Cain. This I gave 2 out of 5 stars. Flint Porter has been Ayla's shadow since freshman year, but despite his intense protectiveness towards her, they've never spoken a word to each other until now. This is a very quick, smutty little novella. I liked it up until the point where there was like a daddy kink. That to me, I just get really uncomfortable. I do not like the whole daddy kink thing. So that kind of ruined this for me. There was some wild stuff that happened in this novella. I don't really want to spoil it in case you want to read it because it's very quick. I don't want to give too much away, but there was some interesting stuff that happened in here. I did like how possessive the male character was. I did like how over the top it was, honestly, but the daddy kink stuff ruined it for me. I did not like that. Then I read Game Changer by Abby Glines. This is the 6th book in the Field Party series, and this I gave 3 out of 5 stars. Esmita has big plans for her future, but is dealing with overprotective parents. Asa is ready to go to college, but is hesitant to leave his mother alone with his abusive father. Asa and Esmita cross paths after they are both having a very rough night, and they discover that they have quite a bit in common. I somewhat enjoyed this, but I definitely was disappointed with it. I had a couple of issues with it. First of all, this doesn't end with a happy for now or happily ever after. It literally just ends very abruptly. Obviously, it's marketed as YA contemporary romance, and there's no satisfying ending. You have to read like the 7th book to find out if Asa and Esmita get together, essentially, which is super frustrating. I guess that's kind of a spoiler technically, but I don't want you to go into this thinking that there is a resolution towards the end, because there isn't. And in my opinion, that just felt very lazy and annoying. I don't know if that was supposed to be a marketing tool to pick up the next book to find out what actually happens, but if that was the case, I really don't appreciate that. I was going to pick up the last book regardless because I wanted to read about all of the characters and see how their lives were, but it made reading that book kind of bittersweet because I was like, oh, I just finished this book that wasn't satisfying, and now what if this last book isn't satisfying either? This also takes place post-pandemic, so there is mention of COVID in here, which I honestly didn't like. I read to escape from real life. I don't need to be reminded of what is actually going on in the world. I just don't like reading about the pandemic. It makes me feel very anxious. I also feel like I should mention this book deals with grief, and there are like 2 deaths in this book that are talked about. I will say this series does deal with a lot of serious topics overall, so it's not surprising that this book has some heavy topics of grief, but it just felt a little too heavy. Like, it felt like it was one bad thing after another. I will say I didn't really feel the chemistry between Esmita and Aza that much. I just didn't really feel their connection. They kind of just bonded over their messed up families, and that was kind of it. Like, I didn't really see what they liked about each other that much, but I did enjoy the characters themselves and like the little cute scenes that we did get. But overall, this book was just disappointing. Like, it really was not like any of the other books in the series. And then the last book I read in December was The Last Field Party by Abby Glines. This is the 7th book in the Field Party series. 5 years after high school, all of the characters are back in town for something special where they finally confront some unresolved issues. There's at least like 5 to 10 chapters for each couple, which is nice. However, I'm also very disappointed with this book. Partially, I will say it is my fault. I did not reread the series before reading this. I think that would have definitely helped because there were some couples that I forgot about. I don't remember what happened in their book. I don't remember how they got together. So that is also kind of my fault. But I feel like this was so fast-paced and rushed. I feel like nothing was really properly resolved. Obviously, all the couples do get their happy ending, which is nice, but there's stuff between Nash and Tallulah that happened where she never got to like fully explain herself, and Nash was just like fine with it. He was like, I don't even want to talk about it. And I'm just like, what? You're not going to talk about something that happened? It just wasn't developed enough. I feel like this book could have been at least another 50 to 100 pages to properly have all of the characters like explain themselves and fully move on from stuff. Maggie and West in here were kind of cute, but West kind of annoyed me. He was very like overprotective. It was a little overboard for me, and he treated his mom very poorly. Willa and Gunnar in here were the star of this story. They honestly were the best couple in the story. They were so cute, and their chapters were so heartfelt and heartwarming. I really enjoyed their chapters in here. Riley and Brady were cute, but their chapters were kind of bland for me. Same with Riker and Aurora. I barely remember them from the actual series, so their chapters kind of like went over my head. I'm happy we got this proper ending and like a proper send-off for the characters, but it was just very rushed and underdeveloped. So those are all the books that I read in December. Let me know how many books you read in December, and let me know what was the last book you read in 2022. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to give this video a like, subscribe, follow me on all my other social media, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.